Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Zubair. And on behalf of the Foreign Affairs Department of Jamaat Islami Pakistan, I would like to thank all of the distinguished panelists who have taken time out of their busy schedules and accepted our invitation, spared time to attend this event. We are so thankful. Regarding this title, Islam and the West, several friends pointed out that maybe this title is not accurate, and it does not accurately describes what the relationship should be. There is no dichotomy between Islam and the West. Islam is a faith for the entire globe, and West is part of it. And there is a sizable part of the Muslim world is part of the West also. There is Turkey, there is Bosnia, there is Albania, there is Cyprus. There are so many, several countries. Geographically and also demographically, because Muslims are a sizable minority in many Western countries. So maybe this title is not accurate, but we have given this title perhaps for the lack of a perfect term, or for the lack of a better term. And so this is for convenience that we have given this title, Islam and the West. Otherwise, there is a lot of Islam in the West, and there is a lot of Western culture inside the Muslim world. And there is a lot of common ground. So when we say Islam in the West, it does not mean that the relationship is always marked by hostility. There is a lot of common ground and a lot of compassion and empathy also. We have seen this in recent events in Gaza. The first reaction came from the Western world. So it was not Karachi or Cairo or Istanbul where the first reaction came from, but it came from London and Dublin and Paris and the New York. So this relationship is not always marked by hostility. We have seen this on the occasion of Muslim ban by President Trump. That so many Westerners, they came out in support of the Muslim community, and they supported the Muslim community. Many of them guarded mosques in their neighborhoods. Non-Muslims were guarding mosques in their neighborhoods. On several occasions, we have seen this empathy and compassion. So there are points of convergence, and there are points of difference. In this dialogue, we would like to understand what are the issues, and we have invited this distinguished panel for this, to understand it, how to approach it, and how to strategize it, and how to come to a structure where we can promote mutual confidence, and we can promote mutual trust. There are several questions that we will explore further, and we would like our panelists to give answers to these questions. Like, why are these two civilizations in a perpetual state of conflict with each other? Can an accommodation between Islam and the West take place for peaceful coexistence? Is there sufficient common ground within the fundamental value system of these civilizations that could possibly lead to a fruitful conclusion of this proposed dialogue? How to remove misconceptions on both sides and promote better understanding? How can the current world order become more pluralistic to accommodate genuine concerns of the Muslim world? Why is the West concerned about Islamic resurgence in Muslim countries? The last question means that if Islamic political parties come to power through a legitimate way and abiding by all the rules of democracy and all the rules of the game, why are they not accepted as a bona fide democratic player inside the system? So these are the kind of questions that we'll seek answers to with the help of our esteemed panelists. There are major concerns and issues on both sides. On the Muslim sides, the concerns are like growing anti-Muslim and anti-immigrant politics, Islamophobia, racism, and rising far-right politics in the West. Repeated display of disrespect for the Holy Quran and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in the name of freedom of expression. And this is something that we have seen. It has resulted in violence during the past few decades on both sides. In the West, it has resulted in violence, and also in the Muslim world, it has resulted in violence. And why would some people want to have it as a right to be disrespectful for symbols and for personalities that are considered sacred by a particular community? Similarly, invasions of Muslim lands, Iraq and Afghanistan, for example, occupation of Palestine and Kashmir, double standards and exploitative policies of Western countries. We have seen this in the recent crisis in Gaza, in the Western media. We have seen the double standards. We have seen the double standards in defining anti-Semitism and stretching it to the extent that nobody can genuinely criticize Israeli policies. Similarly, another concern is institutional control and Western hegemony through United Nations and IMF, World Bank, and similar institutions. Supporting autocratic rulers and interfering in internal political, religious, and social affairs of the Muslim countries. So these are the concerns on part of the Muslim world. On part of the Western world, there are concerns, perceived incompatibility of Islam and Muslims with modern and Western values like democracy, freedom of expression, civil liberties, fundamental human rights, gender issues. I say perceived because in a lot of Muslim countries, the value system, they have shown that the value system is perfectly applicable to Muslim societies as well. So there is freedom of expression in many Muslim countries. There's democracy in many Muslim countries. And there are civil liberties and fundamental human rights, respect for human rights in many Muslim countries. So that's why I have seen perceived. Why are Islamic revivalist movements considered as a threat? Revivalist Islamic movements, I mean the mainstream Islamic movements like Ikhwanul Muslimun and Jamaat Islami, and the mainstream political parties who are genuinely participating in the democratic system. And then there are threats of terrorism perceived to be rooted in religion. Again, another concern of the Western world is influx of immigrants with totally different social and religious ethos, and growing extremism and anti-West sentiments in the Muslim world. So these are the concerns on both the sides. We have very distinguished scholars from Malaysia, from United States, from Turkey, from South Africa, from United Kingdom, from Pakistan. And there is a diversity of perspectives. We would like each speaker to speak according to their own particular experience with the West. So I welcome all the distinguished guests in this Global Dialogue for Peace initiative. This will be an ongoing initiative, and we look forward to a fruitful discussion, and we would like you to enlighten us and to suggest certain solutions to these problems. Thank you so much.